The shocking Backlash power shift, Jeff Cobb and the Bloodline's unpredictable fall. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another jaw-dropping edition of Wrestling News CC. Buckle up because today, we are diving into one of the most unexpected, chaotic, and downright shocking events in WWE history. Jeff Cobb has shaken the very foundations of WWE, and what went down at Backlash has set off a chain reaction that no one, absolutely no one, could have predicted. For weeks, fans were eagerly anticipating fireworks at Backlash, but what transpired turned out to be a complete game-changer. It wasn't just a night of thrilling matches and unbelievable moments, it was the night WWE, and specifically, the Bloodline, was rocked to its core. What started as a United States Championship match rapidly escalated into a full-blown power struggle, alliances crumbled, betrayals unfolded, and by the end of it all, the mighty Roman Reigns was left blindsided, speechless, and broken. But how did we get here? What caused this unforeseen eruption that changed the landscape of WWE forever? Stick with us as we break down the events of Backlash, one of the most chaotic and consequential nights in recent WWE history. This is a story of shocking betrayals, power struggles, and the rise of new forces that will forever change the direction of WWE. The anticipation builds. It all started like any other major WWE event. The excitement in the air was palpable as fans filled the arena, and the WWE universe buzzed with anticipation. Backlash promised to deliver big moments, surprises, and, of course, high-stakes action. But no one could have predicted the seismic shift that would take place before the night was over. One of the most highly anticipated bouts heading into the event was the fatal four-way match for the United States Championship. The contenders, LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and the reigning champion, Jacob Fatu. All were incredibly talented, but Fatu, standing as a member of the legendary Bloodline, seemed untouchable. Fatu had arrived in WWE with the weight of his family's legacy behind him. He had dominated every challenger in his path, quickly making a name for himself as a beast who could not be stopped. He was a physical powerhouse, with an aura of invincibility. The WWE universe had gotten behind him, chanting, "To Fatu," every time his name was mentioned. It was clear that Fatu was not just a champion, he was the future of the Bloodline, carrying the banner of his family into a new era. The match was set for a classic showdown. The contenders were formidable: Drew McIntyre, the Scottish warrior with his brute strength and tenacity, Damian Priest, a calm and calculated powerhouse with a dark side, and LA Knight, the brash, charismatic underdog. The odds were stacked against Fatu, but there was no doubt that he was still the man to beat. When the bell rang, the action was explosive. From the very first moments, it was clear that all four competitors were bringing their A-game. Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest exchanged brutal strikes, each man trying to assert dominance over the other. LA Knight was quick and agile, using his smarts to evade attacks and create openings. Meanwhile, Jacob Fatu was as dominant as ever, throwing his opponents around with ease, reminding everyone why he had yet to be pinned or submitted in WWE. The crowd was electric, chanting, shouting, and reacting to every move in the ring. The match was a brutal contest, with no one willing to give an inch. But as the minutes ticked by, something started to feel off. There was a certain tension in the air, a feeling that something bigger, something more sinister, was about to unfold. Little did we know, this match would set the stage for an event that would turn WWE upside down. The shockwave hits, Jeff Cobb's explosive arrival. As the match raged on, no one expected the chaos that would soon unfold. LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, and Damian Priest were locked in a battle for supremacy, with Fatu maintaining his dominant lead. But out of nowhere, the unexpected happened. Jeff Cobb, the formidable powerhouse from AEW, made a surprise and earth-shattering debut in WWE. The crowd erupted as Cobb made his way to the ring, sending shockwaves through the WWE universe. Cobb had been a top star in AEW for years, known for his brute strength, explosive athleticism, and no-nonsense approach to wrestling. His sudden appearance at Backlash immediately raised eyebrows. Why was he here? What was his agenda? Cobb wasted no time. He rushed into the ring, taking out Drew McIntyre with a brutal clothesline, sending the Scottish warrior crashing to the mat. He then turned his attention to Damian Priest, throwing him over the ropes with ease. The crowd was stunned. Cobb had just completely altered the dynamics of this match. But it wasn't just his attack that left everyone speechless, it was his alliance. Cobb didn't go after just anyone. He specifically targeted Jacob Fatu, the reigning champion, sending a clear message. This was not just an outsider trying to make a name for himself, this was a man with a purpose. Fatu, still reeling from Cobb's brutal entrance, fought back, but Cobb was too powerful, too relentless. With a monstrous display of strength, Cobb delivered a devastating suplex that left Fatu gasping for air. The crowd was in shock. This was no longer a fatal four-way match for the United States Championship. This was now a battle for control, and Jeff Cobb was at the center of it. As the match continued, Cobb's presence dominated. Every man in the ring tried to regroup, but Cobb's fury was unstoppable. He was out for blood, and it was clear that the Bloodline was no longer the dominant force it once was. The Bloodline betrayed, a new era dawns. With Cobb's sudden interference, the momentum shifted dramatically. The match became more chaotic as Fatu, still stunned by Cobb's onslaught, struggled to regain control. But in a shocking twist, the entire landscape of WWE was turned upside down. As the match reached its climax, Roman Reigns, the leader of the Bloodline and one of the most dominant champions in WWE history, made a surprise appearance. Fans expected Reigns to show up and perhaps even intervene on behalf of the Bloodline, ensuring that his family member, Jacob Fatu, would retain his title. But instead, Reigns entered the ring and stood face to face with Jeff Cobb. The tension was palpable. The two men, two forces of nature, stared each other down. The Bloodline's leader and the unpredictable outsider. What was about to happen? In a moment no one could have predicted, Roman Reigns extended his hand to Jeff Cobb, offering a reluctant alliance. The WWE Universe was stunned. Could this be the beginning of a new partnership between Cobb and the Bloodline? But the answer came quickly, and it was devastating. Reigns, in a shocking move, betrayed Fatu. He delivered a low blow to his own family member, sending Fatu crashing to the mat. Cobb, seeing his opening, took advantage of the situation, hitting a brutal spinning slam that left Fatu incapacitated. The crowd couldn't believe their eyes. Roman Reigns had just betrayed the very family he had spent years building, and the Bloodline as we knew it was broken. Reigns, now standing tall with Cobb by his side, sent a chilling message to the WWE Universe. The Bloodline's reign of dominance was over, and a new era had begun. Jeff Cobb, the outsider, had just taken control, leaving Reigns and the remnants of the Bloodline in his wake. The betrayal didn't stop there. As Cobb and Reigns stood over Fatu, the arena was suddenly plunged into darkness. When the lights came back on, another figure had appeared in the ring. Sami Zayn, the former Bloodline member who had been cast out months ago. Zayn, who had once been one of Reigns' most trusted allies, was now here, and he wasn't alone. Zayn, with the help of Kevin Owens, who made his return in the most dramatic way possible, attacked both Reigns and Cobb. The two men, once part of the Bloodline's inner circle, were now united in their mission to take down the new power duo. Zayn and Owens, with their combined might, laid waste to Cobb and Reigns, sending both men fleeing the ring. But the damage had already been done. The Bloodline had fractured, and WWE had been irrevocably changed. A new alliance had been formed, one built on vengeance and power. The chaos that erupted at Backlash set the stage for what would be an epic new chapter in WWE history. The fallout and the new power struggle. The ramifications of Backlash were felt immediately, and the fallout was undeniable. Roman Reigns and Jeff Cobb, once the top dogs in WWE, were now left with shattered alliances, while Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, two men who had once been cast aside, stood tall as the new power brokers of WWE. The Bloodline, once seen as an unstoppable force, was now a fractured shadow of its former self. Jacob Fatu, left broken and betrayed, would have to find a way to rebuild his legacy and reassert himself as a champion. And Jeff Cobb, with his newfound alliance with Roman Reigns, would have to navigate the treacherous waters of WWE politics, knowing that even his own alliance could turn on him at any moment. As the weeks passed, it became clear that the events of Backlash had set off a chain reaction that would reshape WWE for years to come. The Bloodline was no more, and the WWE landscape was now divided. New alliances had been forged, but the question remained, who would come out on top in the end? The future of WWE. In the aftermath of Backlash, WWE was left in turmoil. The power struggle had only just begun, and the question on every fan's mind was clear: who would emerge victorious in this new era of WWE? Roman Reigns, once the undisputed leader of the Bloodline, had been betrayed. Jeff Cobb, the unrelenting outsider, had shaken the foundation of the company. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens were ready to stake their claim as the new leaders of WWE. And Jacob Fatu, abandoned by his own family, had to pick up the pieces and figure out where he fit into this chaotic new landscape. One thing was certain: WWE would never be the same. The events of Backlash had set the stage for a new era, one filled with power struggles, broken alliances, and the ever-present promise of shocking moments. And as the WWE universe braces for what comes next, one thing is clear: the landscape of WWE has changed forever, and there's no turning back. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the chaos and upheaval that transpired at WWE Backlash. Make sure to subscribe to Wrestling News CC for more updates, breaking news, and detailed analysis of the shocking moments that are shaking WWE to its core. Stay tuned, because the story is just getting started. See you next time, and remember, there's always more to the story than meets the eye. If you thought tonight's story was wild, trust me, what happens next will blow your mind. So don't stop now. Click on the video right here on your screen to continue the chaos, the drama, and the inside scoop only we deliver. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and join the Wrestling News CC family, where the real stories of WWE come to life. See you in the next one.